nowhere. We ain't going nowhere. We can't be stopped now. We tatted beauties for life. Hey, I had something on the end. Just a little bit. Nah, hey you guys. Welcome back to the Tatted Beauty Podcast. I am your favorite Tatted Beauty and your host for this evening. It is Thursday, 6 p.m. I am Malaysia. Welcome back. Episode 11. We're just going to get right into it because, we don't have time to cut around no corners or whatever the case. But I do want to say, I hope everybody had a great weekend. It's Thursday. My daughter celebrated her birthday yesterday, her 17th birthday. Lord Jesus. I don't know what I'm going to do at this point. I don't know whether I need to get a weapon or security or a little bit of both. I don't know, but we gonna work it out. But 17, yeah, that's a big age, but I'm ready for it. I'm here for it. Janaya, mommy loves you. Love you much. And also I want to take the time to pay my respects to a young man. I actually met him, excuse me, over where I used to live in Patterson, Main Street in Patterson. His name is Rico. And I met him I believe my family moved on Main Street, I believe 2000 I want to say 10, 11 or something like that. So it was a while. And then we moved, I believe 2017 or 18 or something like that, around that time. So anyway, I just want to pay my respects to him. Rest in peace. He got killed. I don't really know how. I didn't read up on the story, but rest in peace. And in saying that, episode 11, we are getting into knowledge versus wisdom. Now, the two can easily be misconstrued because a lot of people that have knowledge feel that there's wisdom attached to it. And of course, I'm going to explain what I mean by all of that by giving you some transparency stories of mine and just some different scenarios, you would say. So now let me break down the definitions because some people, again, may not know. Do not come for me, okay? Because I know how y'all like to tussle on this internet. Y'all really rough, really rough. But yes, so knowledge is information that you understand and that you take in from learning, from reading things, from like in school, or from it being in front of you. Like some people are just book smart, for example. Knowledge. Now, wisdom is kind of the same, but it's an understanding of the knowledge that's given. And my dad tried to teach me it all my life. At the age I am at now, I definitely understand why we need wisdom. We need the wisdom to understand the knowledge that's given, because if we don't, that's how a lot of people slide and a lot of people fail and a lot of people don't succeed at the things that they want to do. That's why a lot of people don't start certain things, because they have the knowledge. They've read it. They know what they've seen, or the information that has been given to them, but they don't have the wisdom to move, and I've been stuck there before, in times where I thought I had wisdom and it was just like, no, and I learned the hard way. I definitely learned the hard way, like in school, we're in these classes and we're taking in all of this information. We're taking in all the knowledge. We're taking in everything out of these books. The teachers, they're talking to us. And some people take in the information and it goes in one ear and out the other. Some people take in the information, for instance, something you can use in everyday life. I took public speaking in high school. I think we took it our first 2 years of high school. So my freshman and sophomore year, we took public speaking. So that's part of the reason why I have the grammar that I have today, because of that. And I just want to say shout out to Miss Gaston. I love you, because she was tough, but she got us where we needed to be. But anyway, like in public speaking, we had to do certain writing prompts and essays, or speaking prompts rather, in front of the class, where it challenged us, and where we had to really be knowledgeable, but also have the wisdom and the confidence to deliver the speech and actually convince the audience, which was the class, and we literally had to do that randomly. She would do it randomly, or we would have certain days where we had to finish it. But nonetheless, there were some people, let me break it down. Why I brought that story up is because we had certain people in the class that you could tell that were just jotting things down, or jotting things down that they read, or just probably just going off of the knowledge that they know, instead of using the tools that our teacher was giving us to construct a good speech, to sell whatever we were selling, to tell whatever story that we were telling, or whatever the case may be. And I started to understand a little bit around that time, but that's having wisdom in school and knowledge in school is different from the streets. And I'm not gonna say I'm a street person, no, but I gravitated to the streets. Yes, I did. And a lot of us in the city of Paterson, a lot of us in these inner city communities, urban communities rather, we get caught up. We get caught up in what we think is wisdom because of the people before us, because our parents before us, because our grandparents, because of our aunts or our uncles or our older cousins that we may look up to. We sometimes take that as wisdom, as guidance, but it turns out to be what we always talk about, trauma, and what they like to call a trauma bond. And again, I don't like to get into all of these kind of words and things like that. So that's one way, where you balance out wisdom and knowledge. But like I said, the streets is something totally different. Being in the inner city, you tend to gravitate toward the wrong people, the wrong energies that we feel is wisdom. Going back to what I was saying about my dad, when he used to speak so stern and just about certain things. And I feel like that's why I have such a passionate demeanor to this day, because my dad was so militant. My manager at my job actually asked me that the other day. She actually asked me that the other day. She was like, are you really from Paterson? And I'm just like, yeah. She was like, were you in the military, or did you come from a military family? And I'm just like, no, but my dad was very militant. My brother wanted to go into the army later on in life, but I was just raised that way. So I don't mean to come off aggressive, or I don't know. Some people call it ghetto. I don't know if you want to call it ghetto, aggressive, masculine, however you want to spin it. My dad was just, he was very wise. And I did not start to notice it until maybe 27, 28 years old. I want to say, when I started to get into certain relationships, or I started to butt heads with certain friends over little things, or certain things would happen in my life. And I resorted back to what my dad used to tell me, how to maneuver in the street, or how to maneuver just around people in general, because my dad was very stern on that, very big on energy and who he allowed in our house. We were not allowed to go anywhere. Nobody was not allowed. I just told my daughter this. We weren't allowed to go anywhere. We weren't allowed to, nobody to stay in our house or whatever the case. And I never understood why that was. But now I have the wisdom to understand what my dad meant. But back then I was only given the knowledge of what he was trying to tell us or tell me or like I said, tell me and my siblings rather. And I thought my dad was crazy a little bit. I'm not going to lie to you. Like, I'm really not going to lie to you. I really thought the man was going insane. So if you have people around you who speak wisdom, I'm talking about real, actual wisdom, knowledge, and not, you can tell the difference. Let's just be clear. You can tell the difference between somebody who's selling you BS from somebody who is genuinely speaking from a real knowledgeable place. You know what I mean? A real understanding place, because that's what wisdom is, an understanding. And I just feel like even a prime example in understanding the two is career, which is a very personal topic for me, because you can have the knowledge to start a business. You can have the knowledge to know how to make the money. But sometimes you lack the wisdom of understanding of what it takes to keep it. The attitude it takes to keep it. Or to keep it going, rather, the consistency. And along the way, I had to regain wisdom. Hence is why we're here today. I had to regain the wisdom of knowing that, Alasia, you have to do certain things a certain way. Like, nobody's saying that the journey is laid out in front of you. And I'm going to say that too. Don't think you have it all figured out. And you don't have to have it all figured out, because I heard this saying before that says, if you want to hear God laugh, tell him you're playing. And if that's not the realest line I have ever lived, like, I have lived some things, but that's the realest line I've ever lived, because we get so caught up in, oh, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. And some of us, yes. Some people, yes, they have that drive, they have the wisdom to get through and to make it to where they want to be. You know what I mean? Some people snake their way through. Let's just throw that in there, because there's a lot of people making it off of wickedness, because they have the wisdom and knowledge to understand that sometimes you got to be grimy. And basically, that's just understanding the game. And some people are built for that. Some people are made for that. Some people are not. And then we just going to leave it at that. For real. But again, it can easily be misconstrued. It can easily be misrepresented. That was the word that I was basically looking for. And I've misrepresented it a lot. And I just feel like I let my dad down a lot with that. Like, Alasia, you got the wisdom to understand, like, you knew better. You definitely knew better. We get caught up in that in friendships. Sometimes we have the knowledge to see that our friends, loved ones, romantic partner are doing certain things to us, and we know it's wrong. We definitely know it's wrong. But sometimes what we've been taught, such as fighting for love or fighting for friendships or fighting for relationships in general, sometimes we lack the wisdom and the understanding that sometimes you have to let people go. You have to let people do what they want to do, because sometimes you can't save people. You can't take anybody out of the quote unquote hell they've already created for themselves if they're not willing to get themselves out of it. And I got caught up in that too. Not a lot. In high school, I've done it where I just knew a group of friends was not it. Like, Not it. And my dad used to tell me too, like, you better stay from around them. And he used to all the time. And it took for me to get jumped, for the wisdom to kick in, like, all right now, Laysia, something got to give, because it wasn't even your beef. But you know what they say, guilty by association. And that's basically what it was. And I hated that for me. I really, really hated that for me. Because yeah, I know how to fight, but I'm not a troublemaker. I just don't go around starting things. Even my adult life, I don't just go around starting things. I've always been a person that has spoken my mind since grammar school. My coaches will tell you. My teachers will tell you. I'm not argumentative or anything like that. It's just, in certain ways, it was like a therapy for me. Why I say that? Because I couldn't express myself at home in those ways. I couldn't tell my father how I was feeling or rebuttal what he was saying, because it was a no-go in my house. So when I was in school, I just never held my tongue, because I'm not about to let you just run all over me. Because yeah, my dad is my dad, my mom is my mom. And even though I lacked the wisdom to understand that it still wasn't okay for my dad to do that to me, I wasn't going to let nobody outside do it to me either. Like, I'm sorry. It just wasn't happening. So again, in my adult life, I still harbor that kind of energy, but I had to grasp the wisdom that that attitude is not going to get you too far. And I knew that. Of course I knew that. But you know how they say, don't let people play in your face. Let me tell you something. And I know I'm speaking to somebody. I know I'm talking to somebody. I know I'm preaching to somebody. Because you don't want anybody playing with you. You don't want to feel like you're being played. You don't want to feel like you're being set up. You don't want to feel like you're being set up for failure, or whatever the case may be. So defense mode kicks in. Survival mode kicks in. And the knowledge that you ain't going to play with me going to kick in. But no, I'm serious. I just feel like a lot ties into those two words, knowledge and wisdom. A lot. And sorry, I have to talk with my hands. So if you guys see my hands going up, don't say, damn, what can she put her hands? I talk with my hands. And I'm trying to get better at that. I'm trying to get better at a lot of things, Growth. Tatted Beauty, we here for growth. So grow with me, okay? We gonna work on our hands. And don't mind my nails either. But we gonna work on our hands. We gonna work on all of that. But it took me a long time to understand those two words, because I lacked a lot of wisdom. I understood a lot, had the knowledge, but I didn't have the wisdom to move forward. So to anybody that I'm speaking to who may be in a compromising situation where they don't know if they're using knowledge over wisdom or wisdom over knowledge, this is how you can honestly, seriously tell. So like I said, knowledge is knowing what you already know, grasping the information and taking it for what it is. It's like being on the outside looking in, basically is the metaphor that I'm going to use for that. But, wisdom on the other hand of that is actually understanding it and implicating it. You know what I mean? And I feel like I have been around, I could say, a lot of knowledgeable people. Some very, very, very wise people. You know what I mean? Very wise, and people that had a lot of wisdom. You could just see it. pouring all over them. And not to, okay, so don't be mad at me, but I hate those spiritual people who wear the wraps and claim to have a lot of wisdom, because I grew up a lot around that too. My dad was a God body before he trans over to Islam. So I used to run into a lot of men, and I still do a little bit, that still practice the God body religion, or I don't the culture. And I just could see through the, like you could just see through it. And I know we all seen it, like them instant mans downtown in the city of Patterson. Like, I don't know what it is. It's like, they just don't seem so wise to me. I'm getting off topic here, but that just was clicked in my head, because you see them downtown talking and speaking in certain ways and talking to groups of men, and me coming from the dad that I come from, I can sense the BS, and I can tell if you're not even delivering the right message. And no, I may not be the right person delivering the message either, but let me tell you something. I know what I know. And that goes to say to anybody else, if you know what you know, just sharpen it. You could never be too sharp ever in life. Don't never let nobody steer you wrong, tell you wrong, none of that. Like, none of it, okay? And I'm gonna, listen, so we're moving right along, because this just popped in my head. Knowledge versus wisdom. Now, this submarine situation, okay? These rich people had the knowledge that a submarine was going to take them to the Titanic dump site for $250,000, right? But each one of them, including a father and son pair, lacked the wisdom to actually study what that submarine, or the levels in the water, if anybody else had gone down there. And it was stories about other people that have gone down there. Like, how wise was that for you to bring your 19-year-old son down there with you, and you paying, like, they said it's an attraction. Like, come on. And then distracted us by saying it got lost, knowing it was already blown up. Come on. Knowledge versus wisdom. Understand, they gave us the information, but it takes a real wise and a person with wisdom to understand that they was trying to distract us from something else. Because then after that, everything started to come out. Literally everything. And I don't understand how they even let that go down. I don't understand how they even let that go down for as long as they let it go down for. I promise you I do not. Like, but that's here nor there, and that's not my business. My prayers go out to the families, and yeah, moving right along. Because that was not a very wise decision. I would have never done that. Never. Just like, people who don't like roller coasters. They are wise enough not to get on there because they know some of them have popped. I literally just seen a video of a ride. It was the little ball that's on like two strings, and it was bouncing up and down. It literally snapped, and the whole ball like went on the side, and it looked like somebody popped out of it. I don't know. Don't quote me on that. But it very scary. Very, very scary. So I understand why certain people don't go on rides, but me, Call me roller coaster shorty. I'm going to get on a ride. I'm sorry. Not all of them, not certain ones. I don't really do carnival rides like that. But yeah, I'm gonna get on a ride, a roller coaster. And maybe that's not so wise. But hey, I understand what I'm getting myself into, so I got the knowledge to know what could happen. But it's just all in what I choose to do. And that's all it is, you know? It's all in what you choose to grasp an understanding of, a full understanding of. Because in going in certain things in life, whether it be a career path, sports, you know, a job, you know, you got to understand the difference because jobs can play on your mind too. Who, baby? When I tell you jobs have a real good way of teaching you because again, I work in DSP work. So I'm just going to give an example of what I mean by that about a job possibly playing the role in how you understand the two, knowledge and wisdom, right? Now, working in DSP, the DSP field, I'm sure a lot of people know it's a real tricky and like aggressive field at times. We work with autistic adults, young adults. Some are older, some are young. With some have aggressive behaviors, some have light behaviors. And it just, the list goes on. ADHD, anxiety, depression, the list goes on. And a lot, like I said, comes with that job. Mentally, you have to redirect these clients. We're basically teaching them how to get through everyday life. And the clients sometimes can play you, okay? Like I'm talking about do some things. And you gotta be wise enough to know, like, yeah, they taught me the tools to do my job. And they're telling me that, yes, I have to be compassionate and I have to interact with the clients and I have to engage and I have to be polite and all those things. But you got to be wise enough to know that some of these clients will turn on you at the drop of a dime, honey. I'm talking about as fast as you can blink. And I have worked in the field since 2016. I took a little hiatus off. Like I said, I've worked in all different types of fields, but that was my first rodeo. And now I'm back in the field and I actually love it. I do. And it's helping me have patience. It's helping me understand certain behaviors because there are certain people who don't have the luxury of going in these homes to get that type of help. So when I'm out on the street, I actually see people who harbor certain behaviors like my clients, and it's good to know. You know, it's a good skill to have. You know, it's good to just learn, you know, because like I said, there are people in the outside world living with some of these disabilities and some of these behaviors that we don't even know of, you know. And going back, because I definitely just got off topic. I drift sometimes. All right, sorry guys, I drift. But like I said, in the job field, it's very easy to gain the knowledge of the job, but still not be able to keep the job because you weren't wise enough to keep learning, you know. And I had that problem too, boy, because like I said, I used to leave a job quick, fast, and in a hurry. But I had to develop the wisdom and understanding that, Alasia, you can't keep doing that to yourself. You're trying to get somewhere. You know, you don't have a silver spoon. You know, you don't really have all the resources a lot of people have. You're you're a hard ass when it comes to asking people for help. So it was like I had to get out of that mind state, and hence is why I'm still at the job that I'm at now, because I was gonna quit. Yes, I was. When I first started, I definitely was gonna quit because, again, I had the knowledge and understanding that I had a manager running this house, but I also had the wisdom enough to know that I felt like a little slave to them a little bit. And it was a man woman dynamic, and I was not the only female that felt that way, but that's here nor there. So I wind up switching my house. So the house that I'm at now, is definitely a switch. Definitely a switch, because there are a lot of high functioning clients. So I had to get wise, like, Alasia, Lay, girl, you definitely got to learn patience. You definitely got to, because like I said, I can't keep leaving jobs, being impulsive. You get what I'm saying? Again, we have the knowledge to know we're not going to let nobody play with us, but not the wisdom to know that sometimes that can really damage us in the long run. And I'm sorry to keep saying these words, but I'm going to keep saying them so that you understand and so that somebody grasps the concept, because not a lot of people really grasp information without key points or without you keep having to repeat it. People's attention spans, people's memories, it lags. I know I have that little problem a little bit. I got short-term memory. I forget a person name real fast. So I'm just going to keep reiterating it, okay? Because we're all learning here. And trust me, in me speaking to you guys, I'm also continuing in my healing and my growth process. Because every day, oh my God, every single day, I am getting tried. So if I am speaking to somebody, if I'm speaking to somebody's soul right now, hold on, okay? They say it gets worse before it gets better, and everything tries you while you're becoming a better you. Whether that's mentally, physically, financially, emotionally, doesn't even matter. Everything just gets in the way of the growth. And if I'm speaking to somebody for real, like, I'm so serious right now. Like, a lot of people may look at my show and say that, oh, she's doing this. Listen, I'm really speaking from a genuine place. The people that really speak to me on a day-to-day basis will know this is not made up. How I'm talking, what I'm talking about is definitely not made up. I really speak about these things all the time. I speak about them to my younger sister. So why not spread it to the world? Why not spread it to people who actually need it? Because like I said on a previous episode, I do watch a lot of podcasts, and I'm pretty sure a lot of other people watch podcasts of people who are established and who have amazing stories, but I like a lot of other people, they want to see someone like myself who's been down so many times. I've lost so many things so many times, and not to say that I lost in life, because I would never say that, because I've always gotten myself back up. And you always speak that. If I'm speaking to somebody, you don't never make nobody feel like you lost in life, because if you still have breath in your body, you didn't lose at all. You got food on your table, you didn't lose. You still got a job, you didn't lose. You know what I mean? You got a vehicle, you didn't lose. Even if you don't got a vehicle, you still able to get from A to B back to A. You didn't lose. You understand what I'm saying? So if I am speaking to somebody, like I said, don't lose yourself in trying to grasp so much information, trying to get so much knowledge that you lack the wisdom that comes with it. That you allow people around you to make you lose that wisdom. And I'm pretty sure that somebody's looking at me like, what you mean by lose it? Let me tell you something. When you are vulnerable, when you are at a vulnerable state and people see it, People see that you are destroyed. People see that you are hurting. People see that you are grieving. Sometimes that is a playground for certain people. A playground for certain people to play on your wisdom. For certain people to play on your top, basically, And I just feel like me being a product of what I just said, because I did allow certain people to play on my top or play around with the wisdom that I already had and that I already knew, because I did love them and because I was vulnerable. I was grieving. I was in a negative energy, so I kind of took it as it being true. I was validating that, with the continuous things that I was doing, but I had to understand that these were people that were literally like playing with me, mind fucking me, basically, in a sense, and I couldn't even see it because I was so caught up in apologizing. I was so caught up in taking accountability for everything I did and not being around people because I was taking accountability for my energy and not wanting to spread it to other people, that I didn't see that there was a narrative being created outside of my reality, and once I got out of that, which today makes a year that I have been single, no partner, no text buddies, none of that, just sitting with myself. So I just want to give myself a little pat on the back for that. I mean, I've been single for longer, but if this last situation took me out. Well, it almost took me out, given everything that I was dealing with. But, I'm thankful to have made it out of that. And like I said, I just really lacked I allowed people to take my wisdom away from me. Sorry if I just spaced out real quick, because I really I get flashbacks a little bit sometimes, and I'm still growing, still learning. So I try not to go to a negative place because I'm not there. I'm really not. I really have a understanding of a lot of things. So I'm just trying to really break it down so that someone else listening, if you've gone through a similar situation or you're going through a similar situation, you either know if you did something wrong, if you did something right, or what you need to do. And like I said, I may not be the best person to be delivering the message, but I really do feel like I am a vessel for this type of information. And I'm going to keep delivering it to whoever wants to receive it. And I appreciate every single one of you that tune in every week, because you really don't. But again, I just feel like listening to somebody who is really just living in their authentic self and literally just from the bottom. I literally did everything from the bottom. And for anybody else that's literally doing it from the bottom, keep going. Keep going. I don't care. I don't care if you used to do something. I don't care if you used to be in a limelight, now you're not. I don't care if you used to be with celebrities and now you're not. I don't care if you used to be one of the highest paid designers and now you're not. So what? I don't care if you had a business and it flopped. Do it again. Do it again. And again and again and again and again. Rebrand, refocus, regroup as many times as you need. Because again, that's the understanding between knowledge and wisdom too. Have the knowledge to know, that you can do it. But you got to have that wisdom to push through. You got to have that wisdom to understand that nobody has control over your future but you. Nobody has control over what you decide to do with your life but you, whether you make something out of it or not. Because again, I am not here for anybody's money or anything like that. I'm literally building a community of people who are healing, changing. And yes, there's a bunch of that out there. But not a lot of people are living in their truth. These advocates, shall we say. And I'm not sitting up here saying that, oh, I'm the best candidate for it. But baby, I'm living in my truth all the way. I lay it all out every single week for you guys. And I am going to begin to bring other guests. My last guest, shout out to Miss Natalie Curry, who came on the last episode, and shared her story. And that's what I want to do. I want to allow other creators, other artists to be able to be comfortable enough to come up and tell their stories in hopes to help somebody else. And it doesn't matter if you are not where you feel like you should be, A lot of people see me dressed the way that I dress and feel like I have all this money, and that's been all my life. No, I just like to keep myself a certain way. You know what I mean? And again, you don't have to have the glitz, the glam, and everything like that to tell your story, to be an inspiration to somebody, to, push somebody forward. You don't have to have all that. You don't. And I definitely understood that a very long time ago, and I've never been about that. This makeup stuff, I literally started doing makeup a couple of years ago because I was involved in so much and because I was in front of so many cameras. So I had to do something. Because, baby, the lighting sometimes gets crazy. It gets really crazy. I'm sorry, y'all. My phone is just going off. I don't know if y'all heard it on the table. It just keep going off. I don't even really know how to put it on, like, silent, or do you got to put it on Do Not Disturb? I don't know, y'all. But, I have no idea. None whatsoever. But, yeah, so I don't know who I'm speaking to, but you got it. You got it. You got it. I may sound like a broken record, but I'm making sense to somebody. It's clicking to somebody. I literally just turn this camera on and I just start the talking. Okay? That's literally what I do. And I'm just literally giving you authentically me. Although these are my opinions, I'm also speaking through real life experiences that I've gone through personally and that I've also seen in front of me, because I've been around a lot of things, and going back to the whole street thing, I had the knowledge enough to know that the streets are bad, but I didn't have the wisdom enough to know that it could get ugly, and it got ugly. Okay, certain situations got ugly. I was at a block party one time, and girl, they said we should have left. See, knowledge and wisdom. They told us to leave. We didn't leave. They wind up shooting. The block wind up shooting back. We ducked. The aftermath is my rental got shot up. Like, I'm talking about when the detectives came, he put his light through the back, because it went through the back and came through the front. Well, the headrest was a clean shot. Like, I'm talking about through the headrest. So if I was sitting in that driver's seat at the time, whoever was behind me and me would have been like, yeah, would have been out of here. Okay. But, y'all already know what that sound mean. It's time for Isn't It Shady? I'm sorry, I'm gonna get my little song together because that was terrible. I told you I went to school for singing, sounding like that. That was shady. No, but you already know it's time for Isn't It Shady? Now, since we're talking about knowledge and wisdom, I wanted to say this while I was talking about my job, but I'm gonna say it now. Isn't it shady that I am so cordial, so patient, so calm with one of my clients? I'm talking about so calm. He speaks to me and I am very responsive. I allow him to be independent. I allow him to, just cook and clean by himself and stuff like that. Child, do you know this boy now is saying that I make him nervous? I couldn't quite understand. I can't still quite understand how that works. But remember, we're working with people with developmental behaviors and stuff like that. So I try to be empathetic and compassionate for it. But baby, he got to know. I'm knowledgeable to know that I would never lose my job for being neglectful. But I'm wise enough and I got the wisdom to let you understand that you're not going to get me about my job. Okay? Okay. Okay. These some cute shades, y'all. I'm sorry. I really wanted to keep them on because these are really, really cute. Shout out to Burlington on the shades as always. You already know. And shout out to my little sis because she's doing her damn thing. You hear me? Operations manager. So let's give her kudos to, well, I call her Icy. Let's give her kudos to my baby. Like, that's it. That's what we doing. We growing and glowing all 2023 and what's to come, because it's been one heck of a year so far for a lot of us. A lot of people are in their healing phase. So a lot of things are uncomfortable. So I'm here to give you the wisdom to get you through your healing. Because I'm pretty sure a lot of you are knowledgeable of what it takes. Isolation, stuff like that. But that's not all it takes. Sometimes it takes losing a lot of people that you thought were your people, because when you grow, when you're elevating, when in a career path, whether it's, physically, mentally, emotionally, like I said, whether it's in any kind of aspect in life, sometimes people can't go with you. Sometimes you outgrow people, and when you grow in certain aspects of your life, certain people are just not going to grow with you. And you just have to, sometimes we bring them with us. Like I said, we all do it. But sooner or later, and a lot of people have really caught on after a while, like in the music industry, people catch on after a while to why people are around them. Because they got the knowledge to know that, oh, this is my boy, this is my homeboy, that's my people's. But they ain't wise enough to know that your own homeboy could do it to you too. Because I'm pretty sure we all hear about stories about people who have snaked their friend Selena. Her own accountant, manager, snaked her and killed her, for money. You just don't know. That's why I said we all think we're wise when we're really not. We all think we are. We instill that wisdom, and we really don't. And it's very harsh reality sometimes. Very, very harsh reality sometimes. Shoot, even in relationships. I can be very transparent with you guys about that. Sometimes we lack taking accountability for the wisdom we lack in the relationship, because we think our ways of doing it is the right way. And I've been on both sides of the field of that, so if I'm speaking to anybody who's in a relationship, just speak to your partner, sit down with your partner and literally have those uncomfortable conversations, because you can be knowledgeable about your partner. You can be knowledgeable about everything that they have been through. You can be knowledgeable about their trials, tribulations, and everything, because that's what the honeymoon phase, they call it, the talking stage is for. You get to know each other, but sometimes we lack the wisdom to actually get a full understanding or to actually become a full part of who our partner is, to get them to the best version of themselves. You get what I'm saying? And if that confused anybody on that, I'm sorry, but that's literally the only way that I can explain it, is basically just adding to somebody. That's basically in a nutshell what I just said. Just adding to someone. Yes, you can. I'm not saying that you gotta take the beatings, constantly take the excuses, because sometimes that's what it is too. Excuses. People just don't want to grow, but sometimes you gotta be wise enough to understand some people really can't make it out of certain things that they're in. I've seen it. You feel all of these things happening to you, so you're knowledgeable of what's happening, but you lack the strength or the wisdom to make it out because you're so traumatized, because you get down on yourself, seeking revenge, and I had to learn that too. I had to be knowledgeable and understand that even though I want revenge and I could easily get revenge if I wanted to, I had to be wise enough to know that I'm trying to get somewhere and I have purpose, and I've allowed too many people to allow me to self-sabotage myself with the things that they have put me in the middle of, or attached my name to, or even things that I have attached my name to. I'm wise enough to know that I don't want to be in those places anymore. So I'm not going to do it anymore. And that's saying that respectfully. It's just certain things that I don't want to do anymore. So anybody out there who's dealing with certain situations like that, where you are in a situation where you're healing and not a lot of people around you really understand your growth process. Like I always say, get away. Get away. Isolate yourself. If you need to be by yourself, do that. I literally just told you I've been literally single for a whole year by myself, and that's by choice. That's literally by choice, because I decided to be wise enough to actually really work on myself, because I've always said that. And if I'm speaking to somebody too, get off your ass and literally work on yourself. If you literally want to get to a better you literally have to cut out a lot of the nonsense that you are doing. You literally have to sit with yourself, not with other people, because when you are around other people, sometimes that can cloud your judgment too. Because other people think for you sometimes. You ain't never find yourself in a conversation and your friend make you think another thought, like, oh, wait, hold up. And sometimes that's not what you need in the moment. You don't need a change of thought. You don't need a second opinion sometimes. Because sometimes your first thought and your opinion is the only opinion that matters, depending on what you're talking about. And I had to learn that the hard way too. And I've become not a very private person. Well, yeah, private person, not that private, because I do have a platform. So I do, broadcast myself, but in a sense I am private. I'm private with my energy now. I'm private with certain things that I decide to tell people, that I decide to talk to people about, and I just allow people to be them. Like I said on the previous episode, like I just literally just allow people to just be them. If that's who you're going to be, and that's who you're going to continue to be, instead of being transparent with me and you're seeing my growth. I know a lot of people see my growth and they choose to ignore it, and they choose to belittle it, and they choose to keep wanting to throw daggers when I'm really not bothered. Just shows the level of maturity and the level of wisdom that they have, and from what I have, and the level of knowledge that they possess. Because they knowledgeable to know that I'm the type of person that has reacted off of impulse. I am the type of person who will say what she needs to say. I don't mind being the person who didn't keep her mouth shut. I don't mind being her. I don't. But I'm also very wise when it comes to not letting people play with me ever again. Okay? So if I'm speaking for anyone, if I'm speaking to anyone, you know, if you need to go to the library and read more books so that you can gain more knowledge and wisdom and understanding of the things that's happening around you, do that. If you need to tune into certain podcasts, do that. If you need to be by yourself, do that. If you need to write, like Miss Natalie Curry said, the author in our last episode, you know, me and her both said we journal. If you need to do that, do that. You need to go to mental health circles, do that. Seriously. You don't want to go to therapy? You don't have to. But if you do and you have the resources, go. Because a lot of people don't have the resources to do that. You know? So just be careful when you're out here spreading knowledge to people without the wisdom of understanding. Okay? I'm going to say that again. Stop or don't be out here spreading knowledge without the wisdom of understanding. Because that wisdom of understanding is going to make or break you and make or break the people around you. You know what I mean? And I just want everybody to stay safe, stay covered. Yeah, it's just that. It's a wicked, wicked world we live in nowadays. The world has become so shallow. I just had a conversation with one of my cousins in my DM, you know, Patterson. I love my city. I really do. But it's filled with a bunch of miserable people. You know, miserable, misled people, you know. And it's not to say that the whole city is that way. It's just the people in it. Certain people in it, you know. And I pray for my city every single day. Every single day. Even though, you know, yes, this is a selfish me era. My selfish soft girl era right about now. I still have a lot of compassion for my city. You know, even if others don't want to receive me. Still love you though. Love when I see you though. Well, some of y'all. No, but for real. So moving forward, like I said, I'm sorry y'all moving around this chair. It's just I don't got no back on this chair, so I be wanting to lean back sometimes. Lean. I'm sorry. Again, if I am touching someone out there, if I am resonating with anybody out there, you know, drop some love in the comments. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Oh, I forgot to say that in the beginning. I was just so excited about my little tune, about my little song. You know what I mean? Like, I just didn't even, like, remember to say that. But yeah, you know, just go on ahead, comment, share, you know, play it with others, share with others. Like I said, I'm just trying to get a message out there. I'm trying to build a community of people who genuinely want to grow and who are genuinely in their healing phase and are ready to receive the uncomfortable information that's needed for that growth, you know? Yeah, that's literally what I'm about. I literally had a conversation with somebody today. He asked me what's my end goal, and that's the end goal. I always tell you guys, if I can inspire one person a day, one person an episode, one person a day, I know I did my job. And I know I'm doing my job. And I'm doing a great job. I got to give myself more credit because I be down on myself a little bit. So anybody else that be down on yourself, give yourself a little bit more credit, baby. Don't nobody got it all mapped out. Not even these people with money. Because as you can see, they losing it as fast as they getting it. Okay? That's it. And that's it. So with that being said, I'm going to wrap the show up. This has been episode 11, baby. We made it. I am so proud of myself, like for real. Episode 11. Knowledge versus wisdom. I hope I helped somebody understand the difference between the two. Hope I help somebody overcome a little bit of their trauma, if not all of it, a piece of it. Like I said, we are growing episode by episode. We turning trauma into beauty, okay? Tatted beauty for life, baby. Hope and wait, I almost forgot my final thought. And I'm going to do it with the shades on today because these shades is just too cute. Like, for real, for real. I just had to put these on one more time. I need an excuse to put them on again. But the final thought that I'm going to leave with you guys today, okay? Knowledge is power, but wisdom is understanding. And understanding will take you way further. That's the word. You guys have been great. I'm your host, Alasia, your favorite Tatted Beauty Podcast. See you guys next time.